A year ago, in May of 2008, I spent 11 memorable days in beautiful British Columbia at the invitation of my guest and the Salvation Army. Their Camp Sunrise, you're looking at one view of it here. It's on the Sunshine Coast. It attracts women from all over the province for 2 long weekend retreats. And it was there that I first saw the Army's concern and work to combat human trafficking in an excellent video production. It was an eye-opener for many of us. I don't think a dry eye in the place after that video. Salvation Army Major Winn Blackman is the Divisional Director for Women's Ministries for BC, as well as Liaison Officer for several ministries in the downtown east side of Vancouver. Winn, I kind of knew this day would come.
Yes.
And the last time we were together, you didn't have a voice, and I was working on a cold, and we're almost back there, except you're in great voice today.
Yes, my voice is pretty strong today, and I just got back from camp, actually.
You had that same annual good time. Hey, been there, got the t-shirt. Sunrise Camp. Where exactly is it? Tell folks what we were looking at there.
It's in Gibsons.
Gibsons.
Yeah.
And the next picture I want you to see is a famous harbor, one that Winn introduced me to personally. Just up the hill, literally steps from these boats, is a very famous restaurant. Tell us why, Winn. You'll see a group of us here. There's Winn, me,
yes,
and the girls.
Molly's Reach, and that's where the Beachcombers was.
Bruno Gerussi's long-running television
So it's quite
program.
famous. A lot of people come to visit there.
And the next picture, these are mine, eh? These are pretty amateur, but, and I was careful not to bring the photos that would identify faces I will never forget. But this group of girls are about to do some zip lining. They were so excited. You could hear the shouts through the woods, I think for a mile. Who is this group? Who would we be seeing here? Well, the first weekend, Winn.
Yeah, this was the first weekend of our camp, and a lot of the women that come to the first weekend come from the downtown east side. And this was, for some of them, this was their first experience, and for others it was second. And it's interesting to see the progression of these women as they come and how God is moving in their lives and the transformation that has taken place. And we realize it's all about grace. It's all about God's grace.
One woman there was found behind a dumpster downtown. Somehow had come from London, England, and that was her home. There was another woman who hadn't worked for her pimp boyfriend for 6 months, and she was so proud of it, and she was going to be getting her teeth within a number of months. Nothing there at the moment, and she returned this year.
That's right, and she had her teeth, and she'd put on some weight. She looked absolutely wonderful, and the change in her life is really a testimony to the grace of God.
You know, Winn, to a great extent, this is the Salvation Army to me. Crisp and navy, and here's my mug, the Salvation Army, giving hope today. But I had no idea of some of the innovative grassroots projects that the Army is involved with. Some of the young girls there were right down in the heart of the most needy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, some of the girls that were there work on the downtown east side and do a one-on-one work with the prostitutes in the streets. And it's amazing, some of the things that they have done, just even teaching them how to budget their money, taking them grocery shopping, all those kinds of things that we probably take for granted. And it's wonderful just to watch what they're doing.
Well, you're one of the spearheading forces behind Sparkle of Hope. I just think this is a very creative assault on this huge problem of human trafficking. Before we find out about it, I want to just attune you to this desperate concern. Watch this. Well, there's this logo, and then there's the new website, The Truth Isn't Sexy. I wouldn't have expected a title like that from the Sally Ann Winn, but you're really going to war in a meaningful way against this travesty.
That's right, and we thought that something like that would catch people's attention, and it has. There's lots of people that come into our website and they find out about the different things that we are doing. They find out some of the facts about human trafficking in Canada as well as internationally as well.
Now, this pin is one of the most creative expressions. I find it hard to talk about it without losing it. Just thinking about it, I have a hard time. A Sparkle of Hope. Why don't you talk about it?
Okay. The Sparkle of Hope campaign was actually the initiative of Suzanne Smith, who was part of our public relations department and a member of our committee. And we talked about it, and she wanted something that people could look at and identify the subject of human trafficking and get them thinking about it. So it's really a large part of our awareness. And so it was designed. And we partner with medicine pharmacies in British Columbia who have displayed it in their stores and who have actually bought the pins and have been a great donor and really have come alongside us in this. The pin, we started out with 5,000 and most of them are now gone. They have gone right across Canada into the United States, the United Kingdom, and even Australia. And it's amazing. I have walked down the street and have seen people wearing Sparkle of Hope pin.
It's a beautiful piece of jewelry.
It is.
But its symbolism is so deeply touching and meaningful. I think actually we have a public service announcement that people in BC are probably familiar with. I'm already campaigning to see this come right across the country. Take a look at this.
Every year in British Columbia, thousands of women and children become victims of human sexual trafficking.
Medicine Center pharmacies have come together to support a Sparkle of Hope, a Salvation Army campaign to fund their rescue and rehabilitation.
Purchase the symbolic pin from your neighborhood Medicine Center pharmacy and support this cause.
The crown represents each person's priceless value, and the jewel, the hope that the sparkle in their eyes will be restored.
Buy a pin, help them break free.
Only at Medicine Center pharmacies.
Now that's the only part I don't like. Only at Medicine Center pharmacies. We don't have those in this part of the country. But these are available for $10. That's the donation.
That's right. And you can also order them off our website, The Truth Isn't Sexy, and by contacting the Salvation Army in British Columbia. And we'll send them anywhere.
What does this money do?
This money goes towards promoting awareness, training, and safe housing, which is our mandate.
Getting the women off the street.
Yes, that's right.
I think one of the most tragic realities, truths, is that for many women, this has begun as children. They've been enslaved so early.
That's right. A lot of the prostitutes that we have come in contact with and have talked to, in their background, there's often child abuse, and some of them have definitely been trafficked as children and then become part of the whole scenario and often go on drugs to hide the pain. And so you have this happening quite a bit.
When we were together a year ago, when in the newspapers we were reading about women disappearing from the streets of BC. That's still happening.
Yes, and I read recently in the Winnipeg Sun that a lot of the women and children that are missing from the streets in Canada are Aboriginal women.